At number 10 is the bath game, also known as DaRuMa-San. Formerly known by the name of the spirit that you're about to invite to haunt you, this game can be genuinely lethal, so please tread carefully. But hey, at least you get to have a nice bath for this one. I mean, mostly nice. And yes, you're going to need a tub for this to work. You're gonna wanna start this game before you hit the hay tonight, so before bed, fill up your tub and get stark naked before cutting out the lights. Now be super careful as you enter your bathtub in the dark, because you definitely don't want to share the same fate as the ghost you're about to summon. As you sit in the tub while facing your faucet, close your eyes and keep them shut. And as you wash your hair, or massage your scalp if you're bald I guess, you repeat the words, DaRuMa-San fell down, over and over again until you're finished washing your head. As you chant, you'll imagine a Japanese woman standing in the bathtub, slipping and falling onto a rusty tap which directly impales through her eye, her body going lifelessly limp moments later. As you do this, you'll either hear a sound coming from behind you or feel movement in the water, indicating that you've successfully summoned the ghost. Great. Now, keeping your eyes shut, carefully get out of the bathtub without slipping, leave the bathtub filled till morning, dry yourself off, and close the bathroom door behind you as you leave. Go right to bed without turning any lights on. When you wake up in the morning, the game will begin. As you go about your day, you're gonna feel the presence of the one-eyed woman creeping up behind you, disappearing whenever you turn around. She'll get closer and closer as your day goes on, and do not let her catch you. If the one-eyed woman is getting too close, you're gonna stop tomer, which means stop, and then run away really fast, which should end the game and the woman will leave you alone. If that doesn't work, try shouting kita while swinging your hand in a chopping motion. Now you must end this game before midnight or else she will keep stalking you and appear in your dreams to take your life like Freddy Krueger. At number 9 is the closet game. I can assure you that there aren't any monsters hiding in your closet. Well, at least not until you play this game, that is. The risks associated with this game involve being possessed by a demon and or being dragged immediately into hell. So don't say I didn't warn you. All you need is a match and maybe a friend if you ain't brave enough. All you need to do is turn out the lights, hang out in your closet, and chant the words, "Show me the light or leave me in darkness." Now, eventually you should hear some demonic whispering, probably something along the lines of, "Surprise, mother effer!" When you hear the whisper, or anything at all for that matter, you must immediately light your match and hightail it out of the closet. If your matchstick happens to break before you can strike it, or if it doesn't light after the first couple of tries, it's safe to say that you can kiss your pretty soul goodbye. But if you do manage to light it and leave in time, congratulations, a demon now haunts your closet. Great. From now on, always open that closet with the light on unless you want to meet your demonic tenant. On second thought, you might as well just board the closet shut, not unless you'd rather risk leaving the door cracked open for a demon to come out and suck the soul out of you while you sleep. If you're enjoying this video so far, please support the channel by pressing like, subscribing to Most Amazing, and ringing that notification bell. Coming in at number 8 is the elevator ritual. Have you ever wanted to visit an unholy alternate reality? Well, now you can. For this one, you're gonna need an elevator with at least 10 floors, and if you got any, bring any friends who are just as crazy as you are. Get in the elevator and start visiting floors. The sequence is 4, then 2, then 6, then 2, then 10, then 5, and then 10 again. If any random pedestrian enters or leaves the elevator during the sequence, you've got to start all over again. If you've done it correctly, a ghastly woman should enter the elevator once you stop at the 5th floor. Now, it's crucial that you do not pay this woman no mind. Don't greet her, don't glance her way, don't even acknowledge her existence whatsoever, because if you do, you could kiss your home dimension goodbye. Now, when you reach the 10th floor, you'll notice that everything should be different than when the doors opened the first time. This is your last chance to forfeit the ritual and turn back, returning to the 1st floor, because otherwise, you can step out into this parallel plane. Now, ignore the woman if she asks where you're going, and feel free to roam around and explore this new world, if you dare. Now, in order to return, you must get in the exact same elevator you started in, but getting back to this elevator may be more difficult than it seems, as you may become disorientated and forget which elevator you arrived in, or the elevator may seem to get further and further away from you as you walk towards it, and so on and so forth. Be vigilant and keep your wits about you. If at any point during the ritual you faint or pass out or otherwise lose consciousness, you will likely awake in your own home. However, be sure to carefully examine your surroundings upon waking, as the home to which you have been returned to may not be the one you started out in. At number 7, the 11 miles of hell. Just an 11-mile drive through the woods at night. And at the end of your trip, you get a wish granted, so long as you endure the horrors and don't perish along your your way. How bad could it be? Let's find out. Before you get in your car, fixate on what you desire most in life. Then head out alone at night and drive around till you find the 11-mile road. You'll know it's the right one as it'll lead into the woods, it'll appear on your right, and it will have a single lamppost illuminating the entry. Now don't worry, if you really want to find it, you will. So you're gonna be cruising along following these bizarre rules on this empty road. Once you found the road, turn off your radio, and now you're committed, so don't even try to go back as it will end horrifically for you. Now the chilling part about this game is that each mile amps up the horror. In the first mile, it gets strikingly cold, and you have the option to turn on your heater or keep it off, but it's highly recommended you turn it on. By the second mile, if you still haven't turned on your heater, do it or you're probably gonna freeze to death. At the third mile, ignore all the shadows in the trees, no matter how human they may seem or how distracting they are. In the fourth, ignore all voices coming from outside your car, no matter how human they may seem or how convincing they are. By the fifth, ignore the vanishing of both the trees around you and the environment as you enter this liminal space. In the sixth, your radio will turn on. Do not turn it off, and ignore it as best you can. In the seventh mile, continue ignoring all the voices, especially if they're coming from your back seat. In the eighth, your headlights may start to flicker, and if it does, don't try to fix the flickering headlights, simply ignore it and keep moving forward. By the ninth mile, your vehicle's probably gonna stall, and when you roll to a stop, close your eyes as hard as you can and keep facing forward. Try to start your car back up without opening your freaking eyes no matter what. When your start backs up again, open your eyes and keep rolling forward. In the 10th mile, under any circumstances, do not look in the rearview mirror unless you want to face certain death. In the 11th mile, this is the final mile, if you've reached it this far, you're unlike most people and you probably have extreme luck and you probably possess no fear. Your vehicle may lose power but continue to move, and if this happens, and normally I would never advise you do this, but don't open your damn eyes. For the love of God and all things holy, no matter what voices you hear in your head, no matter how hot or cold it is, do not open your damn eyes. When the power of your car returns, you may open your eyes and you're probably gonna see some old-fashioned buildings and a brick wall to prevent you from going ahead. Stop your car, and when you exit, you're gonna find yourself miraculously parked in your driveway. If you wish for something physical, check your trunk or back seat, and if not, wait up to 30 days for your wish to come true. At number 6 is the devil face. For this one, you gather 12 black candles, which, let's be real, isn't something most people have lying around, so you're probably gonna have to hit up the store for those. Then you head to a dark bathroom just before the clock strikes midnight. Now you light those candles, shut your eyes, and wait for the witching hour. When the clock strikes 12, open your eyes, and expecting to see your reflection, instead you will see the devil himself. Now, this is a solo game, so if you decide to bring a friend along for the ride, it's likely you or your homie will succumb to demonic possession. Seriously guys, possession is no joke, so make sure you try this one alone. At number 5 is the midnight game. What better way to spend your evening than inviting a ghost into your home and having it chase you around the dark for 3.5 hours? The setup, grab some paper, a pen, and get ready to shed a little bodily fluids. Don't worry, just a drop. You're gonna write your names at a drop from your pricked finger and place those papers by the front door. Unfortunately, your door needs to be made of wood for this to work, so if you're not a pioneer in a log cabin, then you're gonna have to sit this one out. Then knock on that door 22 times, with the last knock coming as the clock directly strikes midnight. Then blow out a candle and boom, congratulations, you've just summoned the Midnight Man. Now the goal is simple but quite nerve-wracking. Stay away from the Midnight Man until 3:33 a.m. This means wandering around with your candle, hoping not to encounter the ghostly being. And if your candle decides to snuff out, it's panic time as you've got 10 seconds to light her back up. If you fail, you will be attacked by the Midnight Man, who will make you hallucinate your worst fears until 3:33. Now you won't actually be able to see the Midnight Man, but you can tell he's nearby if the room gets icy, your candle plays dead, or if you start hearing whispers in the dark. That's your cue to avoid a certain someone. At number 4 is hide and go seek alone. Also known as one-man hide and seek, this takes regular hide and seek to a whole new level of spookiness. Despite the title, you'll actually be playing this game with a doll that's supposedly possessed by a spirit. Great. So here's what you do. You're gonna start off innocently enough by tearing the stuffing out of the doll and replacing it with uncooked rice and one of your own fingernails. Then you dunk this unsettling creation in water. Could be a sink or bathtub, your choice. Next comes the really bizarre part. After you've had your turn seeking the doll, which shouldn't be too scary considering it's an inanimate object and you'll probably find it in the same spot you left it in, it's time to stab the doll, douse it in salt water, and let it do the seeking. And guess who's hiding? You. Good luck with that. At number 3 are the 3 Kings. This game will allow you to access the Shadow Realm. Now, it's not a physical place that you can stroll into. It's more like a place which we've all been to before in your dreams that you can't quite remember. Now, there are a bunch of extensive steps to get this to work, and if you mess up, it could get real messy. First, you're gonna need to be stone cold sober to start, so don't get messed up on any substances or even booze. And if your life is going haywire or you're doing this to escape from reality, it's also a bad idea. Preparation is super key. you're gonna need the following. A large quiet room, preferably without windows, like a basement, or at least windows that can be covered up. A pack of candles, a bucket of water in a mug, a fan, 2 large mirrors, 3 chairs, and a little alarm clock. An active, fully charged cell phone, and a small toy or object from your childhood. Yeah, this one needs a lot. Basically, you're gonna set the chair facing north, have the 2 chairs also facing north next to it, prop up a mirror on each side, put the water in front of you, and sit around until you summon demons. Pretty fun. At number 2 is the Gallery of Henry Bochamp. This one's here at number 2 because, well, it's the most interesting since you get to explore an art gallery made from bodily components of the artists. You will have to be at a specific bar in Paris. The exact bar is a mystery, so you're gonna have to go bar hopping till you find the right one. Now, if you find the right bar and if you play your cards right, you might get to see these paintings by this guy named Henry Bochamp. But it's not as easy as just walking in. You gotta prove you're a big fan by ordering a special drink the right way and answering tricky questions. And if you mess up, apparently, you get nightmares for days, which isn't fun. And don't even think about trying to cheat your way through either. Assuming you get past all of that, you'll finally get in to see the paintings, but they're not your typical art. It's crazy stuff, painted with all sorts of different bodily fluids, apparently. Rumor has it that the artist went all out using his own body parts to create some of this freaky artwork. Now, if you ever actually get to see it, let me know how it goes, and I'll buy you a drink and you can spill all the details. At number 1 is Bloody Mary. This game is undoubtedly the most well-known scary ritual, and it's also the simplest to perform. All you gotta do is chant Bloody Mary several times while looking at yourself in a mirror in a pitch black room, though some versions suggest doing it with a candle. The idea is that if you summon her, Bloody Mary will pop up in the mirror, looking pretty terrifying, like a corpse, a witch, or a ghost even. I always imagined her kind of looking like the nun from the Conjuring movies. And the chilling part is that they say that she's not there to exchange pleasantries. No. She's gonna go all in trying to harm you in nasty ways, from strangling to stealing your soul or even gouging your eyeballs out. She's not here for a game of patty cake, y'all. This is a demon you're confronting. It's recommended that you try this with friends, so if things go south, at least you won't be facing your doom solo. But seriously, better to skip all these spirit games and just stick to safer pastimes.
Starting off this countdown, we have the corner game. For this game, you need 4 people. 1 person stands in each corner of the room with the lights off. They face towards the walls. You then count down from 3, and then everybody turns clockwise towards another corner. You then count down again from 3 and rotate again. After you've completed a full rotation, 1 member of your group will disappear. Don't say anything though. If you're lucky, it won't be you. This friend was then taken to the spirit realm. To get them back, everyone has to say their name backwards 3 times and then turn on the lights. Your friend should then reappear. If they don't, I guess they're stuck in the spirit realm forever. In our 8th spot, we have Charlie Charlie. A couple of years ago, this game was a huge internet sensation. People filmed themselves playing this game and claimed it worked. Now, it's pretty simple to play. All you need to do is get a piece of paper, draw a grid on it so that there are 4 different sections, and write yes and no in the boxes. Then take 2 pencils and balance one on top of the other to form a cross. Start by saying, "Charlie Charlie, are you here?" If he's there, the pencils will move and it should point to yes. Then you can start to ask him yes or no questions. But you have to be careful, because it's believed that Charlie is an evil demon from Mexico, and he has sinister intentions. He will either kill you or possess you and then kill you. Coming in at number 6, we have Candyman. If you've seen the film Candyman, then you probably already know how to play it. It's pretty much like Bloody Mary. You're in the bathroom in front of the mirror with the lights off. You then need to say Candyman's name 5 times. After doing so, you need to turn on the lights immediately, or else the Candyman will get you and kill you in a very gruesome manner. And that's it. That's the game. Again, I don't know why someone would want to play this game. It's a matter of life and death. I guess people just like the adrenaline rush of finding the light fast enough before they die. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with the Thumb game. Now, this game is based off of an old Japanese legend in which a woman gets murdered and dismembered by a serial killer. The police managed to locate all her chopped up body parts except for her left thumb. So for this game, you and 3 or more friends sit in a circle with a lit candle in the middle. Each person holds onto the thumb of the person sitting to his or her right. So everyone is grabbing everyone's left thumb. You then close your eyes and repeat this chant. Oh yeah, you be, hear our voices. Oh yeah, you be, grant our wish. Within moments, you'll be transported to the scene of the murder. The object of the game is to then find this girl's thumb. However, you have to do so while holding onto your friend's thumb the entire time. Should you let go, they will be taken away to the spirit realm. At some point you might feel a bony finger tapping on your shoulder, but whatever you do not look around. Doing so will get you killed. You have until the candle burns out to find the missing thumb, and then you'll return to your home. If you don't find the thumb, however, you're SOL. Moving on to number 4, we have one-man hide and seek. Ever wanted to play hide and seek but don't have any friends to play with? Well, no fear. You can now summon a demon and have them play hide and seek with you. All you gotta do is have a doll that the demon can possess. First, you have to rip out the stuffing of the doll and replace it with rice and one of your fingernails or a strand of hair. Then you have to sew it shut. Then you place the doll in a tub filled with water and turn the lights off. Fill your mouth with some salt water and then go back to the bathtub. The doll should be gone. You then have to wander around your house looking for the doll. You need to find her while still keeping the salty water in your mouth. I have no clue why, don't ask me, I didn't make up the game. Oh, and you have to find the doll in the dark. You can't use any light whatsoever. The game ends once you have found the doll and poured the salt water from your mouth on it. Once the doll is dry, you need to burn the doll, or else this demon doll will terrorize you and your home. Coming in at number 3, we have Charlotte's Mirror. For this game, you get to contact a ghost of a 7-year-old girl named Charlotte. Charlotte died in the 15th century after her mom was burned alive at the stake for being a witch. So in order to contact her, you need to go into a dark room with a large mirror and a gift. Something Charlotte would like, maybe a toy. Anyways, you put the toy on the floor and you use the mirror to see Charlotte. So you point the mirror so you're looking at the reflection of the gift. If Charlotte likes the gift, she will reward you by answering any questions you have about the afterlife. But here's the thing, if she doesn't like your gift, you gotta run or else she's going to kill you. Also, whatever you do not bring candles. Her mom died from being burnt alive, so she does not like flames or fire. Okay, that's another sure way to piss her off. In our second spot, we have the binoculars game. Now this game was posted by a Reddit user who claimed he learned this game from a book that had been passed around his family generation to generation. According to the book, you play the game as so. First, you need to visit an empty house with your friend. From there, tie a piece of rope to the front door and tie the other end of the rope to your friend. Then write this message on a piece of paper. We welcome you, you shall not be harmed, and you slip it under the door. You then need to wait until 10:30 p.m., at which you split off from your friend and explore the dark home. You have to then repeat the phrase, come with me, we'll have lots of fun, come with me. Then return to your friend and put your ear to the door. If you hear knocking, that means he is on his way. So you need to run upstairs with a pair of binoculars and look out the window. You should then see a shadowy figure in the distance moving towards the house. From there, lock all the doors but open a window and shout out, "Forgive, for I am mistaken." You then close your eyes and open them again quickly. If the figure is no longer there, you're saved. If he's still coming, well, rest in peace to you both. I just don't understand why you need to tie your friend to the door. Like, are they a sacrifice or what? And in our number 1 spot today, we have the Hooded Man Ritual. For this game, you get to call on a ghost taxi cab with a hooded man behind the wheel. How fun. Basically, what you do is use an old rotary phone to call a specific number, and once you call this number and recite a certain phrase which I will not tell you, a black taxi cab with a hooded man behind the wheel will show up at your location. You then have to enter the cab's back seat, lock the door, and go to sleep. Apparently you'll fall asleep in 70 seconds. Then there's a huge list of things you have to follow and do. It's pretty complicated, but in the end, if you succeed, you'll make it home safely. But if the player stays in the cab until the hooded man reaches the end of his route, let's just say it won't be good. Also, if you look directly into the hooded man's eyes, you'll die immediately, so that's fun.
In at 9, Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary is the legend of a ghost or a phantom or a spirit, whatever you want to call it, that is conjured to reveal the future. She is said to appear in a mirror when her name is chanted repeatedly, and appearances are mostly witnessed in group participation, or by someone who is about to die. Historically, the divination ritual encouraged young women to walk up a flight of stairs backwards, holding a candle and a hand mirror in a darkened house. As they gazed into the mirror, they were supposed to be able to catch a view of their future husband's face. There was, however, a chance that they would see a skull, the face of the Grim Reaper, which indicated that they were going to die before they had the chance to marry. Today, Bloody Mary allegedly appears to individuals or groups who ritualistically invoke her name in an act of captromancy, which is a fancy word for mirror divination. This is done by repeatedly chanting her name into a mirror placed in a dimly lit or candle-lit room, typically done in the bathroom, and this name must be uttered at a certain number of times, but different sources have different numbers. The most common is 3, however it can go up to 13. I've never done this personally, mostly because I don't really have any friends, but either way, I don't really think that this is a good idea, or believe in this kind of thing, but like I still don't want to get possessed.
Moving on to number 8, we have Sad Satan. Now, if you're a fan of horror games, then chances are you have heard about this game, and this weird legend that's associated with it. Legend goes that a YouTuber named Jamie over on Obscure Horror Corner found this game called Sad Satan while digging around the dark web. They thought it was just a normal, creepy game until they realized it was much, much more. The game starts off with you wandering around a dark hallway. While doing so, eerie noises follow you around, including footsteps, distorted voices, and whispering. Some people claim that when playing the game, they hear whispers saying kill, kill, kill. The hallway ends up morphing and more unusual things start to happen. Apparently at this point, real images of dead people and murder and kidnapping victims flash on the screen, as well as other R-rated dark web stuff. Some who have played the game have claimed to feel dizzy and have gotten sick by it. The most messed up part is that in one version of the game, their character is attacked, and as their character's health lowers, their health in real life lowers as well.
And at 7, Ouija. The Ouija, also known as a spirit board or talking board, is a flat board marked with the letters of the alphabet, the numbers 0 to 9, and the words yes and no. Sometimes it has hello and goodbye. It uses a planchette as a movable indicator to spell out messages during a seance. Participants place their fingers on the planchette and it is moved about the board to spell out words by spirits. Fun fact, the term of Ouija is actually a trademark of Hasbro, but is often used to generically refer to any spirit board. Paranormal and supernatural beliefs associated with Ouija have been criticized by the scientific community and are characterized as a pseudoscience. The action of the board can be most easily explained by unconscious movements of those controlling the pointer, a phenomenon known as the ideomotor effect. But mainstream Christian denominations, including Catholicism, have warned us against using Ouija boards, holding that they can lead to demonic possessions. Occultists, on the other hand, are divided on the issue, some saying that it can be used as a tool for positive transformation, don't know how that works, and others are reiterating the warnings and caution many inexperienced users against it. But hey, it's ages 9 and up, so you have to be at least 9 years old to summon Satan. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments.
In our 6th spot today, we have a Repla Snatus, which is Satan's helper spelled backwards. So you already know the vibe of this game. So legend goes that this website is haunted by a little girl that was killed by her father. One night, a storm knocked down a foam pole that was located over her grave. Shortly after, this website mysteriously appeared online. Now, it's said that you can only enter the site at midnight. If you try to go on it at any other time, a box will appear where you put your email in and then you'll receive an audio message from this girl that tells you to come back at midnight to play. So if you do enter the website at midnight, you'll see scary pictures of this girl and she'll ask you to play a game with her. You then sift through the website, clicking on various pictures and clues while creepy things can be heard. Once you successfully complete the game, a box will appear where you can type in your enemy's name. There, the girl will get revenge on this person. But here's one little tiny catch. By her getting revenge on your enemy, she will haunt you in your dreams every night until you die, or until you're driven to insanity. Apparently, the website that is currently up though is not the original. The original one is banned and only can be found in the depth of the dark web.
Halfway through it at number 5, the Midnight Game. What comes to mind when you think of the Midnight Game? A game played in the dark, maybe the creepypasta, or maybe even the video game adaptation. While all of these are valid, the Midnight Game actually has roots as a pagan ritual that was used as a form of punishment for those who disobeyed the gods. The game itself is pretty simple, but the ritual or summoning is complex and not for those of you who can't actually prick your finger or actually follow rules. So simply put, you need a candle holder, because you're not gonna hold it with your hand. Matches, a pen, paper, a needle or pin or something to draw blood, and a wooden front door, specifically wooden, okay? If it's mahogany, that's preferred. Everything should be set up and ready before 12 a.m., as you won't have time to go back for everything once the game has actually begun. So, you write your name on a piece of paper with the pen. Then you prick yourself and put a drop of blood on the paper, okay? This is some real blood magic stuff. Gather the rest of your supplies, place the paper with your name and the blood on it in front of your wooden door, turn off all your lights, all your electronics, everything, light your candle, and then once it reaches 11:59, set your candle next to the paper, and then start knocking on the door 22 times, making sure you complete the 20-second knock as the clock strikes midnight. Not sure how you're gonna do that, but have fun. After the 20-second knock, open your door, blow out your candle, close your door, and then immediately relight your candle. And apparently, you just summoned the Midnight Man, because then you gotta start moving all over your house, and you can't stop moving. You're not allowed to stay in the same place for more than a few seconds, otherwise he's going to get you, okay? Then, you have to keep doing this until 3:33 a.m. I don't know why you would willingly do this. It seems like a horrible idea, but hey, that's how we get horror movies, right?
In our fourth spot, we have the Blind Maiden game. I believe I talked about this game before, but it deserves a spot on today's list because it's one of the creepiest games that I have ever heard of. Basically, it's a website, Blind Maiden, and it's haunted by a woman with no eyes. She's blind, and she's a maiden. It can only be accessed at exactly midnight. But in order to get on, you have to be alone in your room with the lights off. If you meet this criteria, then you will be allowed to access the website. How does the website know you're doing this? Don't ask me, it's haunted. Once you get on the website, you have to be very careful what you click. Apparently, people have suffered from clicking things they shouldn't have, whatever that means. Eventually, on the website, a notification will pop up asking you if you accept or decline. If you accept, then the footage on your screen will change and you will then see live footage of someone approaching your house. This person will enter your house and you will see them approach you. But if you turn around, then the blind maiden will attack you. She'll rip out your eyes and then take a picture of you. This picture is then posted onto the website along with hundreds of other photos of her victims, all with their eyes gouged out. Now, if you choose the other option, decline, then you will be safe from the maiden, but you will no longer have access to this site. Either way, it's not worth the gamble, okay? I personally would like to keep my eyes. In our second spot today, we have Crossroads. Now, this is a very popular game in Japan. Sometimes it's called the Crossroads game, other times it's called the fortune game, because the game is said to tell you your fortune. To do this, you need to follow the game's instructions very carefully. You need a comb, something to hide your face with, and crossroad, an intersection with 2 or more roads. At night, you go to the crossroads and stand near a corner. You then stroke the comb so that it makes a noise, and repeat this. Suji Ura, grant me a true response. Then you have to hide your face. And then you wait. If you did everything correctly, someone will approach you. Do not reveal your face to them at any time though. When they approach you, you ask them for your fortune. They should tell you it. Sadly, you might not always receive the answers that you're looking for. Apparently, a number of people in Japan have taken their lives playing this game after receiving a bad fortune. This has resulted in its ban in Japan.
Finally, in at number 1, FNAF Help Wanted. Actually, ironically enough, the whole point of Five Nights at Freddy's VR Help Wanted is that you end up getting possessed in the end. And as we now know, at least I know, you'll know now, in Help Wanted we play as Vanessa A, who gets bumped up to be a video game tester after the last one gets removed. We spend the game trying to collect 16 cassette tapes that inadvertently end up summoning the sentient digital code manifestation of the series' main serial killer, William Afton. No, I'm not joking, this is actually the story. And known in this game as Glitch Trap. He then proceeds to take over our mind no matter what we do, allowing for our character to become the main villain in the next game, FNAF Security Breach. Trust me, I wish I was joking when I say this, but the whole point of this game is that you end up getting possessed at the end no matter what. Therefore, much like the various other games on this list, the only way to win is just not by...
Coming up in our number 10 spot, we have a game called Three Kings. This is a ritual game that is said to be something that you would play when wanting to connect with beings from another dimension, or perhaps even connect with your subconscious. Some have joked that it is actually a game that is a form of therapy and can help the practitioner understand themselves better. Basically, through setting the scene in a dark basement with 2 large mirrors, 3 chairs, a pack of candles, and an object from your childhood, you are supposed to be able to get in contact with a being. At around 3:30 a.m. in the morning, morning, you are supposed to go to the scene with a burning candle and sit down on one of the chairs at 3:33 a.m. with your candle. You're supposed to look into the darkness, not the candle or the mirrors, and eventually you will be approached by a being, an entity, if you will. Look, whether you believe in this game or not, I personally think it could be deeply psychologically damaging if you play it. So just don't do it, okay? I feel like the gym teacher from Mean Girls. Just don't do it, okay? Coming up in our number 6 spot, we have DaRuMa-San. This is a bath ritual that was created in Japan, and it honestly feels like a story my brother would make up because the things you have to do will possibly make you laugh. It made me laugh, but I laugh easily. This is a ritual that people do so that they can have the lovely experience of a ghost chasing them around all day long, and if they don't manage to capture the ghost, because yes, you are supposed to capture her, then she will follow you into your dreams. Yikes. Apparently you summon her while in the tub while washing your hair. You're supposed to say, "DaRuMa-San fell down," over and over. Then she's supposed to appear and show you that she fell onto the bathtub where she was impaled through the eye. The next day she's supposed to chase you everywhere, and you are supposed to capture her by looking over your right shoulder, and you're supposed to yell "Kita" and do a karate chop movement with your hand. No, I'm not making this up. Just stay away from this ritual. It's a crazy one. In our number 2 spot, we have the dry bones ritual. Another game to summon a demon. There is no reason for this. Why, people? This game apparently is done with the objective to win a prize. I don't know what prize. It will be different for every person, but it's supposed to be something good. You're supposed to have a mirror, a candle, and some matches. Go into your room at 12:01 a.m. on a night when you're completely alone. You're supposed to stare at your reflection in the mirror and listen for any noise or whispers. If you hear something, leave your house right away, as that means the demon's there. If it's silent, then you just think about your prize that you want. You're then supposed to light the candle with the match. Don't blow out the match yourself, but wait for it to burn out on its own. Then lie down on the floor and say, "I am aware of your presence and I welcome you into my home. Come now." After that, go to the largest room in your house and wait for a moaning noise. If you hear it, the hide and seek game has started. If you manage to hide from the demon until 3 a.m., then you win. You must say, "Thank you for playing, but please leave now. You are no longer welcome" to the demon. The demon will leave once you hear a groan. You can expect your prize the next day on your doorstep. If you don't win, the consequences could be dire. I couldn't find out any other testimonials, so maybe this game is just not worth the risk.
At number 9, we have the Legless Lady game. This game has you conjure the spirit of a woman who died in a mysterious elevator accident. The elevator had been stuck for hours, but when the elevator was finally fixed and the doors opened, the woman was gone. It wasn't until months later when she was discovered at the bottom of the elevator shaft, her legs somehow severed. So let's start with what you'll need. You'll need access to, of course, an elevator, a quiet one, so best to play this at night, and a partner who will act as your guide. You'll start by entering the elevator at the bottom level. Once the doors close, repeat the following: "Legless lady, catch me if you can." Then press the button to the second floor. Stand facing your guide, close your eyes, and take deep breaths to try and relax. Your guide will start talking and ask you to visualize the elevator as it ascends to the next floor. And once the elevator reaches the floor, picture the doors as they open. Your eyes are still closed, mind you. As the doors open though, your guide will ask you to describe what's on the other side. You may visualize a dark hallway, but empty. Then let the doors close and begin ascending to each floor, repeating this process. With each floor, the ghost of the Legless Lady may start appearing at the end of the hallway, moving closer and closer to the elevator with each floor. Keep playing until you feel like she's close enough to reach her hand inside. You don't want to get to that point, because if you do, you may actually feel a cold hand reach out and grab you, dragging you into the depths of the elevator shaft forever. Next up, we have an elevator game story that was shared on Reddit by a now deleted user. It goes as follows. So I had decided to play the elevator game.
It was late at night and I had the whole building's elevator to myself. I followed the instructions step by step, feeling a bit skeptical but curious. Around the middle of the game, I start getting this weird, cold, shivery sensation, like the hairs on my arms stood up. And I couldn't shake off the feeling that something was off, but kept going. And when it got to the point in the game where you reach the 5th floor, the elevator doors slid open and my heart skipped a beat. This woman walked in. I swear I'd never seen her in the building before. And it was messed up because she had this eerie vibe about her, and her eyes, I can't even describe it. They felt like they were piercing through me, like she knew everything about me. I kept my eyes on my feet, but I just felt hers on me. I didn't know what to do, but I sure as hell didn't want to stick around. I hit the button for the 1st floor, hoping to get out and leave her behind. It felt like an eternity, but eventually the elevator doors opened on the 1st floor. I dashed out without looking back. I can't explain it, but that encounter with the mysterious woman in the elevator still gives me the creeps. I'm not touching that game again. No way. And at number 7 is Elevator. Now, this isn't a game you actually play in the real world. It's a video game, but from what I've heard and seen, it's pretty damn creepy. It's an internet game by Krill VP. The game is pretty simple. It's in first person, and you start by walking down a dimly lit apartment hallway before accessing the elevator. Each floor you land yourself on, you have a new ominous area to explore. There are specters and horrifying creatures awaiting in the shadows. It's a spooky game from what I can see. There's this dark ambient drone the whole time, and it has some liminal space elements to it, which I'm a big fan of. Worth checking out. I mean, no, never play it. This next game on the list is called Elevator Ghost Tag. All you need for this one is an elevator with at least 10 floors, a Ouija board, and you. The game also must be played after midnight, so make sure you're playing this one in a safe building. Rules also don't say anything about needing to play it alone. So you could start this game in your own apartment. This is where the Ouija board is going to come in. Basically, you need to make some sort of contact with the supposed spirit in order for the game to start. Use the Ouija board the way you normally would, and if you manage to make contact with something, ask it if it wants to play. If the planchette moves to yes, then you can proceed. Now you'll head to the elevator and ascend to the top floor. Once you're there, hit the button for the 1st floor. The object of the game is to get to the very 1st floor without the elevator stopping on any floors on the way down. If the elevator stops on a floor on the way down and someone else gets on, then the game has failed and you just need to restart. Now, if the elevator stops on a floor and the door's open, but the hallway is empty, well, then whatever you've contacted has caught up with you and you've just lost. As for what your loss entails, I guess that's up to your ghost. Next up, we have an indie horror game called Elevator Dread. So in this game, your task is to deliver flyers to every floor of an apartment building. Only this apartment isn't normal. It's run down, every floor is dimly lit, and there may be some terrifying surprises awaiting you, especially as you get to higher and higher floors. I used to have a job delivering flyers to apartment buildings. It was kind of fun, but definitely nerve-wracking at times, and this game kind of reminds me of it's like a more nightmarish version of that. There's so much atmosphere with this game. Helps that the graphics are pretty good for an online game. You get to name your price too, which is nice. So turn off the lights and give this one a playthrough. Next on the list is Night Delivery. This is a Japanese indie game produced by developer Chile's Art. In the game, you play a delivery person who's almost finished their shift for the night, but you have one more stop to make. You need to deliver 5 packages to 5 different tenants in a creepy old apartment building. Each person you meet alludes to this strange tenant who lives in the building, and as the game progresses, the tension starts to build. The game really puts you on edge. The tenants you meet are really off-putting. There's this VHS style grain to the graphics. Very unsettling. At second place, we have Tapping Fingers. Now, this is just a really creepy story shared on Reddit, but it does sound like something was playing a game with the user who was riding the elevator. It was shared to Reddit by Sizzlor26 and goes like this. On my previous job, when our building was still under construction, the only floors that were occupied were the 1st, 2nd, 5th, 6th, and 7th. One time I was alone inside the elevator going from 1st to the 6th floor when suddenly it stopped and opened on the 3rd floor. Normally I would just disregard it, but rumors were all over that a ghost was playing around on the vacant floors, so I pressed the close button as fast as I could. When it closed, I heard noises like someone was tapping their fingers on the walls of the elevator. Finally, we have what I'm gonna call the hosting game, Elevator Edition. This game isn't typically played in an elevator, but you need to be in a small windowless room with the surrounding area outside of the room unlit, so an elevator seems like a good venue. Although, in all honesty, you really shouldn't do this as there are matches involved. Please do not set a fire in an elevator. So let's start with what you'll need. You'll need 3 matches, a pen and paper, and in this case, an elevator. Wait until nightfall when it's dark outside. Choose a hosting room, which in this case is the elevator. Move away from the elevator to any room outside it. Recite, "I will be ready soon," as you move through the hallway, circling back to the elevator, aka your hosting room. And once you're back at the elevator, take out your pen and paper. Write an invitation that says you are invited to a gathering hosted by, insert your name. It takes place at, insert whatever current time it is. Bring your friends. Place the written note in the middle of the elevator floor and stand at the doorway facing inwards. Say, "I am ready, you may come in." Turn your back to the elevator and take out the 3 matches. Count from 1 to 10 out loud and then strike the first match. If it lights on the first strike, say, "I am glad to see you. Thank you for coming." If it doesn't light, move to the next step. Strike the second match without counting this time, and then strike the final match. If it lights on the first attempt, say, "I am glad to see you. Thank you for coming." If not, end the game immediately. This means unwanted guests are in the hosting room, possibly bad spirits or even demons. If successful, you'll have 3 spirits in your hosting room. You may hear them moving and whispering behind you, and no matter what you hear, do not turn around at any point. To end the game, exit the elevator and say, "Thank you for coming. Goodbye." And we're going to kick off this with Suji-ura. In the West, this is known as the Crossroads game, but it has its origins in Japan. For this game, all you'll need is a comb, something to cover your face with, a friend, and a Crossroads. I'm telling you to bring a friend because this game is played at night, and I'm not encouraging anyone to go out alone and do this, especially if you're younger. Do not do this, kids. So you go out to a Crossroads at night with your friend, and you run your finger across the teeth of the comb 3 times while repeating 3 times, "Suji-ura, Suji-ura, grant me a true response." Then you just wait. If someone you know approaches the crossroad, the ritual has failed. But if a stranger starts approaching, cover your eyes with the item you've brought with you and ask them to tell you your fortune. Now be ready for whatever they answer. Do not uncover your face until the stranger walks away. This is why I'm not recommending that you do this one. You don't want to be talking to a stranger and covering your face. Alright, so just proceed with caution. Next up, we have the picture game. Now ideally, you'll have a few people to play this one, but you can play it with just 2 of you as well. So here's what you'll need: a string, a small mirror, 1 for each player, a camera with the flash on, a glass with a bit of alcohol, wine works well, and a pair of scissors. So to start, you're going to tie your string in a circle. Put the string in the middle of the room with your glass in the middle of the circle. Have everyone sit around the string holding their mirrors, pointing them at the ceiling. Next, turn off them lights. It's something you're going to hear a lot in this video. Next, everyone closes their eyes, and while holding hands, each person says out loud, "I trust you," followed by everyone repeating 3 times in unison. If this ritual has worked, you've now invited something into the room, which you can now try and snap a picture of. Start passing your camera around the circle, and each person who gets it says out loud, "I caught you," before snapping a picture with the flash on. Now, before you stop, you need to formally end the game. Everyone closes their eyes and repeats 3 times, "It is time to go home." Then you point your mirrors face down, cut the string, and dispose of the alcohol in the glass. If all this has worked, you can start going through the pictures now, and you might see something lurking in the background. Number 7, Red Book. This game originated in Mexico, and if done right, it allows you and your pals to make contact with a ghost. So, you'll need 2 or more people to play. A book with a red hardcover and a red candle. To start, turn off the lights, light your candle, place your hand on the book, and say out loud, "Red book, can I enter your game?" Next, you keep your eyes shut and open the book to a random page. Place your finger on the page, then open your eyes, and whatever sentence your finger is placed on is the answer to your question. Now, if the sentence just doesn't make any sense at all, then congratulations, there's probably no spirit in your house. If the sentence does fit as a response, then you'll either proceed with the game or not proceed with the game, depending on what the response is. Something closer to a yes or closer to a no. If you do proceed with playing, everyone takes turns asking questions until you decide to end the game. At which point you'll all need to ask Red Book, "Can I leave your game?" And you'll need to receive something along the lines of a yes before you can stop. So yeah, you could be playing this one for a while. Number 6, Baby Blue. This game is similar to Bloody Mary, but you can't do it with friends. If you're gonna play this game, you gotta go in alone. Go into the bathroom, turn off all the lights, lock the door. Maybe switch that around and lock the door before you turn off the lights. Then you hold your arms out in front of you as if you're cradling a baby. Then you're going to repeat out loud 13 times, "Baby Blue, blue baby," while rocking your arms gently back and forth like you're cradling the baby. At some point, you may start to feel your arms getting heavier, as if there is a real baby in your arms. Don't hold on to it for too long though. You need to mime flushing it down the toilet. Otherwise, a woman will appear in your mirror demanding her baby back, and if it's still in your arms, it's game over for you. Because apparently, for this ghost, gently cradling their infant in your arms, "I'll kill you!" Flush it down the toilet? Yeah, sure. Number 5, Queen of Spades. For this game, you're going to need a Queen of Spades card, a mirror, some lipstick, and a candle. Place the face of the card up against the mirror, light your candle, and place it in front of the mirror. Next, shut off the lights. Then you're going to use the lipstick to draw a door with a set of stairs leading from it on the mirror. Once that's done, take a step back, close your eyes, and repeat 3 times, "Queen of Spades, come." Now, make sure to concentrate very hard on imagining the Queen of Spades opening the door and ascending the stairs. You may hear a slight sound of footsteps at this point. Then you're going to slowly open your eyes, and if it's worked, there she'll be staring back at you from the mirror. At this point, you can ask for a wish. Now, if it looks like the woman is getting closer, or you can feel as if you're having a hard time breathing, you need to end the game. Say, "Queen of Spades, go away," before quickly wiping off the lipstick drawing, then turn on the lights, blow out the candle. Next up, we have Berserk. Now, Berserk is actually a video game released in 1980 by Stern Electronics. It's a classic arcade game where players control this humanoid character moving through a maze that's filled with robots. The objective was to destroy the robots while avoiding their attacks. This game gained popularity or notoriety for its simple yet addictive gameplay, and there was like this speech synthesis involved, which included phrases like "intruder alert" and "the humanoid must not escape." Back then, that was just really cool. Alongside with its success though, the game became a bit of a center of an urban legend, claiming that the game was cursed. The legend originated from several incidents involving players who died shortly after achieving high scores. One notable case involved a teenager named Peter Burkowski who reportedly suffered a heart attack and died immediately after achieving a record-breaking score. Number 3, DaRuMa-San, aka the bath game. So, what you're going to do is run a bath, then turn off the lights and position yourself in the bath facing the faucet. Then close your eyes and begin to wash your hair. And as you wash your hair, you repeat out loud, "DaRuMa-San fell down. DaRuMa-San fell down." Soon, the image of a Japanese woman will appear in your mind, standing in the bathtub where she then slips and falls, hitting her head on a rusty tap. One of her eyes will pop out. Then you'll feel that someone else is in the bathtub with you. Make sure you keep your eyes closed and then ask, "Why did you fall in the bathtub?" Now slowly get out of the tub and leave the bathroom. Don't turn the lights on. Don't drain the water, just go to bed. Once morning comes, she'll be after you. Go about your usual business, but when you sense the presence of the one-eyed woman getting a little too close for comfort, yell "Tomare." This is to give you a bit of time to get further away from her. You can't let her catch you or it's game over, which means you die. And before the clock strikes midnight, you need to end the game or she'll end you. To end the game, you must look over your right shoulder, and when you manage to catch a glimpse of her, shout "Kita" while making a chopping motion with your arm. This cuts her loose, and the game is over. Number 2, the telephone ritual. Now, in order to play this game, you need to be in a house, a building, an apartment, whatever. There just can't be anyone else there, not even a pet. Yes, this is another one of those games you need to be brave enough to play alone. You also need a flashlight, a bag of salt, your cell phone, and wherever you are needs to have a landline. So most of you probably already moving on to the next one. I don't know, maybe you could stay late at the office, wait for everyone to go home or something, get your grandparents out of the house for an hour. You'll figure it out. You just get it done. So to start, you're going to pour a line of salt on the outside of the bathroom door. Yes, another creepy bathroom game. Toilet humor and toilet horror, the staples of childhood. Then you turn off all the lights in the house, make sure it's pitch dark, go into the bathroom, lock the door, and turn on your flashlight. Point the flashlight at the toilet, then pull out your cell phone and call your landline. Someone might just answer. Not sure what pointing the flashlight at the toilet has to do with it, but it's just part of the ritual. And coming in at number 1, we have the little finger game. Now, unlike the other games on this list, you don't need anything besides a computer or phone to look up the little finger game story that you're going to need to read in order to play. But hang on, before you do that, just know that as soon as you read the story, the game has begun, whether you like it or not. So maybe wait until I give you the lowdown on this one. You find the story, you read it. It's a short story, you can read it in your head or out loud, up to you, and that's it. Then you just wait. This game takes place in your dreams. Within 7 days or so after reading the story, you'll have a dream, and in said dream, a woman will come to you asking for help, searching for her little finger. You'll have a choice between 2 answers, yes or no. Say yes, and make sure you find that finger. If you're not prepared to do all that, then don't read the story, because if you can't find that finger, then I don't know what happens. I haven't read the story. I don't want to.
In our number 7 spot, we have the 11-mile game. This one appears kind of fun, but then also not, because it requires so much in order to have a wish fulfilled. But yeah, this is a game where you will have a wish fulfilled if you win. Basically, you get into a car and drive to the country where no one is. Then you begin driving up to 11 miles, and as you get further and further, then you will begin to see/hear paranormal activity in your car and outside of it. Do not acknowledge it. As you drive more and more, you'll feel more paranormal activity, as well as your car may stall and also completely stop. Not terrifying at all. You're supposed to ignore it and keep going till you hit 11 miles, and if you make it all the way, then your wish is granted. I may be playing this game on Halloween night, but honestly, I bet you death is the consequence, so I might have to chew on this a little while longer. I just love presents though, so it's very hard. In our number 1 spot, we have the stalking game. Apparently this is a game you only play when you feel a spontaneous urge to do so. So just go with your gut. Don't play it if you don't feel drawn to it. It has to be a spontaneous decision. The person must first walk to a crossroad, reach into their pocket, and hold an item in their right hand. Then you're supposed to spin in the direction of the first bird you see, and then follow the first stranger you see. If you lose sight of the person you're following, you're supposed to go home right away and sleep. If the stranger being stalked is lost because they go inside their home, you should go to bed at your normal time. If the stranger becomes lost because they entered a building that isn't a house, you have to stay up for 24 hours before finally sleeping. The item needs to be held the entire time you stalk the stranger, and you should place it under your pillow before sleeping. You have to stay in bed until you dream. That is the rule. You should dream about your own death day, a bloody woman with no eyes, spirits that give you advice, an angel, or of course a demon. Play this game at your own risk. You have been warned, child.
And we're kicking off this list with GhostCom Radar Spirit Detector. So this app supposedly allows you to speak with spirits from the beyond, almost like a spirit box, but with text. Here's the description of how the app works. At its heart, GhostCom Radar is based on very simple technology. When it starts, it generates a large string of random numbers. Our internal algorithms translate this string into all the words and stats that are displayed on the screen, including the location data. The basic premise is to test whether random algorithms may or may not be influenced by forces beyond our current understanding. So basically, the app detects spirits and then generates a series of words that are supposedly coming from said entity. Now, there are some pretty intriguing reviews of this app. Some of them write that they received messages from loved ones who have passed away saying that the words generated wouldn't have come from anywhere else and that they're just too personal. So if that stuff is true, that's pretty interesting. Number 9, the Spirit Board. This one is pretty self-explanatory. It's the app version of a physical Ouija board. Ouija boards are pretty notorious. My own mother even warned me not to mess around with them, which I have ignored on multiple occasions, including in app form. I just like fooling around with stuff like this. Bringing on ghosts, you know, that's what I say. What are they gonna do? Punch you with their translucent fist that'll just like pass right through your body? Lots more terrifying threats out on the street than a ghost, in my opinion. But then again, I've never actually seen one, so if I did, maybe I'd change my tune. There are a number of stories though about people releasing unwanted spirits into their life after contacting the beyond through the use of a Ouija board. So if the app is anything like the physical thing, this may be something you want to steer clear of if you have a belief in the spirit world or are susceptible to ghostly encounters. Next up, we have GhostTube SLS. SLS stands for Structured Light Simulator. Here's the app description. GhostTube SLS camera alternate detects humanoid bodies in your environment similar to the Kinect SLS cameras used by real paranormal investigators. GhostTube SLS uses your phone's camera to identify human figures, human-like and bodies. So you pull out your phone and then you walk around and these green lines will appear on your screen forming the shape of any supposed body that it detects. You can also record on this app and then review your footage later. And there's a bunch of different filters, including a thermal and negative filter. If you're interested in doing some ghost hunting, this could be a good app to have on hand. It'd be cool to use it in a graveyard. Imagine like just taking it out and seeing hundreds of green stick figures lingering around the graves. I think I gotta try this. I'll get back to you with my results. When Will I Die is an app that supposedly tells you exactly that. Here's the description. When will you die? Are you ready to learn the date of your death? Answer various questions about your lifestyle and habits, and we'll give you our estimation of when you'll die based on our unique algorithm. There are a total of 10 different quizzes to try out. So this one isn't really claiming to be some mystical premonition of your death, to be honest. It's actually predicting it based on statistics related to lifestyle choices, which can either be very relieving or very unsettling, depending who you are. I tried this app out and I got 88 as my age of death, which is pretty good. I guess you could use this kind of like a guide, like to see how your lifestyle is affecting your health and impending mortality. Overall, pretty morbid though, so if you prefer to just not think about stuff like this, then you may want to stay away from it altogether. Number 6, Charlie Challenge. So much like the Ouija board app, this is an app version of a physical game. The Charlie Challenge is set up by placing 2 pencils in a cross position on top of a sheet of paper, and then the words yes or no are written on each side of the paper in like every corner where the pencils kind of form little squares. Then you just basically play it by asking a spirit, supposedly named Charlie, questions. Yes or no questions. The top pencil will ideally pivot, pointing to either yes or no. Just like with the Ouija board though, some fear that playing this could invite certain unwanted guests into your orbit, so proceed with caution. Number 5, Ghost Radar. So this is another ghost hunting tool. Here's the app description though. Ghost Radar is the original application designed to detect paranormal activity. Ghost Radar attempts to detect paranormal activity by making various readings on the device. Traditional paranormal equipment can easily be fooled when simple mundane bursts of normal energy occur. Ghost Radar sets itself apart by analyzing the readings and giving indications only when interesting patterns in the readings have been made. So I've watched a couple videos on this thing. When you see green dots appear on radar, that supposedly indicates a spirit that is more benevolent, and then the red dots indicate a more harmful type of spirit. So give it a try yourself if you got the cojones. Next on the list we have the Sono X10 Spirit Box. Another device in every ghost hunter's arsenal, now in the form of an easy to download app on your phone. Sono X10. Sono X10 is a spirit box that uses a voice bank. The standard voice bank is created by small bits of the American English alphabet and small cuts of speeches, no full sentences or words. When one of the mobile sensors is triggered, it creates a timestamp in the voice bank, which will then be heard if a sensor is triggered again. If the mobile receives more triggers, it can then put together small bits of audio from the sound bank to create full words or sentences. We believe that the paranormal is able to trigger some of the sensors in a mobile phone to make contact with us. It's not the spirit's voice you hear, but the spirit can create words from the voice bank by manipulating the mobile's sensors. I've always kind of wanted to try one of these things out, to see if I can get something back that isn't just a garbled mess. Next up we have Spectre Ghost Detector Game. Now this app makes no claims that the ghosts you see while playing this are real. It's just a fun, spooky game. At least it looks very fun. Honestly, I really like the look of this. I'm probably going to download it and give it a try as soon as I get home. This is almost like Pokemon Go, but for ghosts. And you can't catch the ghosts, unfortunately, but you do use your phone's camera to detect ghosts, and they'll actually show up on your screen as these misty, ghostly figures. There are also creepy sounds in the app too, so this could be fun to play with headphones. I realize this video is supposed to be games I'm warning you not to play, and I'm totally kind of recommending this, but I don't know. This just looks like a fun evening to me. I can't help it. Don't play it if you scare easily, I guess. Number 2, RIP VIP. Now this one isn't paranormal, but it is very morbid. This is an app that sends you updates every time a famous or otherwise notable person kicks the bucket. So using the app, you'll get to find out which of your favorite musicians, politicians, or celebs have died before any of your friends. Lucky you. I think the name of the app is what really throws me. RIP VIP, like VIP access to what is essentially an online obituary. I decided to pay the 99 cents and actually try this app out, show you guys what it looks like. I don't know if it's even up here on screen, but you get a whole list there of people who have died recently. It's unsettling to see just how many updates you get on a pretty regular basis. They're not just from today. You can go back as far as you want. Just a reminder that people die a lot. Imagine if the app gave you updates on everyone though. Your phone would probably explode for the amount of notifications. Finally, at our number 1 spot, we have the Countdown app. This one is similar to When I Will Die, only this one doesn't ask you any questions. It just tells you straight up, down to the very day you're supposedly going to die. If you're a superstitious person and you take things like psychic readings very seriously, this is probably an app that's gonna freak you out. And even if you aren't superstitious, I don't care what you say, no matter what it tells you, at first, yeah, sure, you're gonna laugh, and you're gonna go about your day, but I just feel like there's always gonna be this nagging thought in the back of your mind, just wondering, what if it is right though? What if I really do have 9 years, 6 days, and 2 hours left to live? At least that's like how I feel my brain would react, so it's not something I'm gonna bother with. If you're curious though, give it a download, post what you got in the comments.